Right, welcome to my UFC predictions. This is a numbered event. It's the predictions for UFC 163. So you're going to get the full detail on every fight and the full recap at the end. We're starting with the main event, which is a championship bout between the long-standing champion Josie Aldo and Jung, who I think was a late replacement sort of contender. Jung is dangerous, and the danger lies in his unorthodox work, often on the ground. However, I am still going with the long-standing Josie Aldo here, who I don't think gets anywhere near the credit that he should for winning quite so often at championship level. I'm going to go for a finish here, and I'm going to say I think Josie Aldo will get a TKO in the 4th round. Bristol Marunde, who has a record of 12-8, is fighting Vicardi Andrade with a better record of 14-5. Now, Bristol is a Strikeforce import who failed on his first contention. Having said that, the last match that he failed, because he's failed 2 in a row, the last one in Strikeforce, was against a very big calibre. Vicardi Andrade is a debutee in the 170-pound weight category, which presumably the UFC couldn't possibly bring in new talent for that, because their rotors are so stuffed. Anyway, they're doing it because he is a Brazilian. Sounds racist, but that's the truth. It's being held in Brazil, so he's a local fighter who actually has a very long win streak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you know, I'm going to go for Bristol on this by decision. So the next match is Francimar Barroso, which you won't know because he is a debutee, although he has been in Shuto before, and Ednaldo Oliveira, who with a record of 13-1 has been in the UFC before, but I don't remember. It was a loss, there we are. It's interesting here because I feel that with Ednaldo, able to be submitted, and with Francimar Barroso having that as a reasonable part of his game, this is probably going to go and be a stand-up war between the pair, because both of them are very good at that as well. It's interesting though, because Ednaldo hasn't lost on the feet. Dare I say, I think he will win, as I don't really know either of these. I'm going to say I think he will win by TKO in the 2nd. Right, this is underdog of the night. This is Rani Yahya fighting Josh Clopton. You know, Rani Yahya, very big calibre, got a record of 18-7, and he is supposed to win this match. This is sort of a bit of a squash match. Josh Clopton has a record of 6-1, but he will be considered the underdog. Do you know, I don't dislike Rani Yahya at all, but I so want Josh Clopton to win this one. I really do. I'm going to say decision, but I think this could be a very exciting match, and this is my underdog pick of the night. I'm going to go for Josh Clopton by decision. The next match is between Iliad Santos, who has the better record, his is 27-7, and Ian McCall, 11-4. Ian McCall, you will remember, was a contender for his flyweight division. In fact, you have to go back 4 fights before he's got a win, because his first fight with Demetrius Johnson was a draw. Then he lost to the same guy, and he's unfortunately lost to Joseph Benavidez. It's not uncommon. He has lost to the calibers that he's faced, including Dominic Cruz and Charlie Valencia. On the other hand, Iliad Santos, I don't think is a caliber. At least not that I don't think Ian McCall couldn't beat by decision. The next fight is quite a stable one. This is the nationalistic fight. This is the Brazilian versus the American. We've got Sergio Moraes as the Brazilian. His record is 7-2. It really isn't very, it's 12 of one, half dozen, 6 of one, half dozen of the other, isn't it? Because Neil Magny, who is the American, has a record of 8-1, so they're pretty well matched. The glaring difference in these, and they both have sort of reasonable records in terms of win and loss, is that Sergio stands out with 6 of his 7 victories being by submission, and Neil Magny, that one loss is by submission. Therefore, I am going to go for Sergio Moraes, and I am going to go for a choke submission, since that seems to be what he uses, in the second. If anybody cares, there is a women's bout on the card. It's Amanda Nunes and Sheila Gaff. Don't know either of them, so I have no idea, to be totally honest. Wouldn't like to say. Both Vinny Magalhães and Anthony Perosh are coming off losses. They are facing each other, and they both specialise heavily in submissions. Their records are very similar, 10-6, 13-7. Now, Anthony Perosh does have a habit of losing by TKO, but Vinny doesn't really make a habit of knocking people out. Whereas he tends to lose by decision. Do you know, I don't know who's going to win this one. I think it's very, very close. And this could be a bum prediction here. But I'm going to say that I think Anthony Perosh will win, just statistically, by decision. Now, in my opinion, this is a very bad match for John Lineker. His record is 21-6, and he's fighting Jose Maria. That's Jose Maria Tome, not Jose Maria all the others that you can possibly think of, who obviously is the Brazilian here. Now, Jose Maria, he has a win streak that goes back forever. I mean, it really does. It goes on and on and on. And some of it is Shuto. So, there you are. Anyway, his speciality is winning by submission. He does lose by submission as well. But if you look at John Lineker, unfortunately, it's sort of pretty much the same. He also loses by submission, and he doesn't generally tend to win by that method at all. This is stand-up. This is stand-up versus submission, and I just get the feeling that I don't know. Shall I be nice? I shall be nice then, and say that I think John Lineker might win by decision. I don't see either of these guys finishing. That's the only problem here. It's the return of Tals Lights. We all remember him, don't we, from his match that he lost with Anderson Silva, in the days when Anderson Silva was messing around and allowing people that shouldn't have gone all the way to decision to get there. He was dropped after he lost a subsequent match, but he's back now about 7 fights later. His record is 20-4, so it's still absolutely nothing to be ashamed of, but he is really a ground fighter, and that may be his problem here, because he is fighting Tom Watson, who hasn't been submitted in a very long time, and he tends to be very, very good on the feet, and if he doesn't manage there, he tends to do enough to win by decision. I'm going to give Tals Lights the benefit of the doubt here and say that, I'm going to say that he can make it to decision, but I'm definitely going for Tom Watson. Now, Thiago Santos is fighting Cesar Ferreira. Thiago Santos is not the Thiago Santos, which is currently fighting in the Bellator events, although he does happen to also be Brazilian. Slightly confusing. Now this Thiago Santos is 8-1. He's fighting Cesar Ferreira, who has fought in the UFC and won before. Not quite so good record, 5-2. It's a stand-up war, this one, and I think I'm going to go for Thiago Santos by TKO in the second. The co-main event is quite interesting. This is Phil Davis, 11-1, versus Lyoto Machida, who is 19-3. Phil Davis's one loss is to Rashad Evans, who is a calibre I would place lower than Lyoto, but it should be noticed that Phil Davis does have a habit of beating reasonable calibres, although not in the last maybe year or so. But we do have on his record a submission win against Tim Boach and Alexander Gustafsson, and a decision victory against Brian Stan. It's going back to 2010, but it stands him. I personally don't think he'll win, but I do think that he is qualified to fight this match. So I'm going to go for Lyoto winning. How? I don't know.